What up though, One Pride? This is the Roar of the Lions UK podcast, a podcast where one pride goes worldwide. My name is Anthony Fitzpatrick. I'm joined this evening by Ashley Sodom for a special Thursday night episode, which must mean one thing. We're getting back into the regular season again when we can do these episodes. It is great stuff. We have the Indianapolis Colts third pre-season game coming up on Saturday, and then Ash, Sunday. It's one of our favourite days, although it's harsh on the players. It is roster cut-down day. We get to see the 53-man roster that is going to carry the Detroit Lions to a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, or in the case of last year, the 50-man roster, because obviously we went a bit short and claimed people. And spoiler alert for my prediction, I could see us doing the same again. But yeah, as I was saying on Talking Grit, when they were saying about it, I was like, yeah, me and Nance are going to stay up for it, even if it's till like 1 o'clock in the morning. We'll track the 53, see who's going to make it, who's not, because, well, a lot of the players, yeah, we pretty much know who they're going to make it. There are some decisions to be made, like, obviously we'll get into it, but what do we do with Rolder? What do we do with Pacheco? What's going to happen with tight end 4 versus defensive tackle 5 versus all these little battles that we're going to see play out? And obviously, we're kind of screwed in one way in that we only get 24 hours to make the decision, while some lucky teams, they're playing tonight. They get a couple of days to really show over the roster. For us, we play on Saturday, and then we've got to make the cut Sunday. So it's going to be a brutal Sunday for some Lions players, unfortunately.
I think every single fan's going to be upset at least one decision, and that is a healthy place to be in. Better than just being able to predict it like the first year. We just we had 53 players, and that was it, really. So you could just put everyone in. There was no guess there. I thought I was doing really well with my 53-man roster. I got to it, and I thought, I've got 53 players exactly. And then I thought, shit, I forgot my special teams.
Oh, no.
I was like,
I
can't forget my special teams. And I'm like, oh, that's 3 men I can't have now because I need special teams. Then I'm like, oh, this just suddenly got a lot harder. So, and I was struggling to get my initial 53. So it's like, oh dear, I'm going to have to make some decisions that even I don't like with this one. So yeah, you're right. We're going to see, and we'll have to cover some of the rules and regs regarding the some of the rules and regs regarding what goes on and how we do it and the little nuances of how you can sneak more people through and do it. But as I say, we got a lot on today. We got a lot of news to go through. Obviously, last week of the preseason, lots of transactions, lots of last-minute sign-ins, lots of people who've been injured getting caught. Injury wave, we're going to go through all those. We're going to take a look at the Indianapolis Colts preseason 3 game as well. The whole point I did do this is we were meant to have a Colts guest coming on this evening, Ryan from Indie Colts UK. He said he is, so hopefully at some point he is going to show up. If not, we will still have a little look at the Colts game. And plus, we need to have a look at which Lions players still need to perform. Like, who does this game matter for the most? There are, as Dan has just said today, there are a few more roster spots available. So you've got one more opportunity to get to the roster. Shout out to everyone who's in the chat so far. Mile Marker is in the building. He goes, let's go. Just want to say R.I.P. Tim Curry, a favourite of my entire life. God, it's been a brutal week, hasn't it? Dolly has gone. Tim Curry has gone. Like, it's just, Ash, it's just, R.I.P. It's been a devastating week on that front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously Hayden Panettiere last week as well. And then obviously today as well, the voice of Optimus Prime as well. Like, it has been a tough week for movie stars and people care about. Like, and I know it's kind of morbid joke, but also I do feel for the Detroit Cowboys since their last Super Bowl cheerleader has sadly passed.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Carlton Wood is in the chat. He goes, hi all. Hope Darren Anderton is feeling better. # sorry, Matt. You say Matt looks like Darren Anderton. He will not like that one whatsoever. But you've got me, because Matt is still down with the sickness bug. He chose the week where we've got like 5 shows to do to get sick. So I think he's just egging for some time off, But it is what it is. We hope he gets better soon. You got any questions you want to ask us this evening? As always, just fire them in the comments and we will get through to them as and when. We had one on our website a few weeks ago, which I've been meaning to update. So we're going to talk about that a little bit this evening as well for Russell. Apologise, Russell. We always do requests on the shows, and I keep seeing it, and I keep meaning to do it, so we're going to chat about it this evening. Let's get the housekeeping out of the way first. ROTL UK Discord. If you want in on that, then just fire across. Then we'll fire across a link for you if you want it. Plenty going on in there. Obviously, the season's ramping up. More people coming back into the chat now. The college football pick watch is restarting. I'm going for my 5th year finishing bottom of the league. I don't know whether to be embarrassed or proud, given that I'm the guy who hosts the college football show. That I keep finishing bottom every year, but as I say, the more you know, the less you know. So, good lord. But yeah, if you want in on a college football pick watch, it's good fun. There's lots of games and stuff going on in there, so Discord is the place to be. Don't forget to like and sub to everything. Twitch, YouTube, all that good sort of stuff. We really appreciate all of you who follow and support the show. We're part of Line Station Unite as well, so don't forget to link forward with that. College Football Pod, we went through week 0. It starts tonight, actually, FCS football, so plenty of college football this weekend. Me and Ryan previewed that. And next week, we've got a special FCS preview. We're bringing Zach McKinnell back onto the show. So if you want to hear about everything FCS football, because he is a font of knowledge about it, then please come join us for that. Yeah, we're a Twitch affiliate. We're monetized on YouTube. If you want to help us that way, great. But first and foremost, we just love having you all in the building to talk football and chat shit about everything. That is the way we roll. We got the feedback form and everything as well, so any feedback, just whack that in there. And don't forget to check out the other shows that we appear on. As Ash mentioned, he's been with the Talking Grit podcast this week. Go check them out. Go give the show a like. Obviously our Ash is on there, so it deserves an automatic like, really. Also Lions Talk Live, I'm on with Dan every Tuesday. Don't forget to follow the Dew Crew and everyone on there. Right, I think that is about it. Carlton Wood goes, we all know they don't like rookies on special teams. They like Joe Barkey and they prefer to develop UDFA rookies, especially from junior colleges from on the practice squad. Is that Carlton Wood getting ready to hurt me with saying that Eric Hunter's not going to make the roster for Joe Barkey? That feels like a very subtle dig at my emotions there, early Colin. So that's not very nice. We don't want to have to do this. I'm still umming and ahhing about whether he's going on. I would put him on there. I know the Lions won't put him on there. They never give me what I want. But just give me a few minutes of believing he can do it before we start with that. Pretty please. So let's go into the news, and as I said, there's been quite a few transaction-y bits this week, so just to go through them, we have released wide receiver Cedric Wilson, running back Kai Robacho, and running back Raheem Blackshear, all with injury settlements. Obviously Wilson and Blackshear on the second preseason game, Robacho on the first. They are all gone now, but released with injury settlement now means they can come back later, no? Or
yeah, so we've paid them off for however many weeks it was supposed to be out for the injury. So let's say with Cedric Wilson going to Jimmy Lee out, it's a 2-month thing, so we've given him 2 months wages. He goes and rehabs, and then when he's fit, he can sign with any team. With us, he has to wait an extra 2 weeks. Same with Robichaud, same with Blackshear. So they could be back, but knowing them, by the time they get healthy, teams will be crying out for them. They're not particularly beholden to us. It's not a hassling situation where he loved us and he basically made the handshake agreement that when he's healthy, he'll come back on the practice squad. These guys will sign on somewhere. Like Wilson, he'll probably get a call from Miami soon to say, oh yeah, when you're going to be healthy, considering they've just traded 2-2 backs to the Rams. So they probably need a veteran wide receiver in there. Same with Blackshear, played for the Carolina Panthers, he's known around the league, so if he's healthy, the team needs a special team, running back 3-4, who they know can take 5-10 snaps a game. They'll probably call him up as well.
There we go. I always know I can rely on you to clear this up for me. Linebacker Damone Clark has gone on to injured reserve, which effectively ends his season. He's the second guy Lions have got an eye on now, along with Kendrick Law, our rookie wide receiver, but they will stay on the roster as a result of that over the long term. We've signed offensive centre Gus Hartwig, the former Purdue Boilermaker bringing in a last little bit of centre competition for camp, and then other visits the team have had include running back Kareem Hunt. We'll explain why that one a bit more in a moment. The defensive back Sean Jolly, defensive back Eric Scott, and as of like 20 minutes ago, Eric Scott has been signed since I did those notes. So 2 new arrivals, Ash Gus Hartwig at centre, Eric Scott at DB. Obviously, coming into the third week, we've had injuries at the positions. We need more depth there and a chance for one of them to perform really well and earn a space on the practice squad, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. I've got an eyes on Hartwig for that because we won't see Scruggs on Saturday. He's going to be our starting centre. We don't want to risk him. Obviously, Mays is out with his injury. Nice is out with his injury. It's it probably would not be surprised if when the official transaction comes out for Eric Scott, the corresponding move is putting Nice on IR with his injury. And so by then, we just left with Seth McLaughlin, who, well, he definitely deserves the snaps. You can't expect him just to play the entire game. So bringing in Hartwig just to play basically that second team centre in the game will be good. And obviously he's played for Purdue. They do have some prestige. And it was him and Sincere Hainsworth, who I know is signed elsewhere as well. So we've been looking there. And then, Scott bounced around a bit, was drafted by the Rams. The pick before Puka Nakua, of all people. Sean Jolly, people might remember as I believe he was a slot corner from Ohio State. He was very highly regarded and fell in the draft. And then Kareem Hunt is Kareem Hunt. Everyone knows who he is. Just us kicking the tires with him, making sure that the pro personnel report is up to date with him, just in case we need him. I hope we don't, because that means Gibbs has gone down, probably Sailors has gone down, and as much as I've Varkey, we probably need a veteran then. But just us kicking the tires on them to make sure that the pro personnel, if we do need them down the line, they've got the reports. Are probably same with Will Hernandez and Laken Thomas, who brought in last week as well. Though I could see one of them coming back in the next week.
Potentially so, and sort of building on the Kareem Hunt point, there is reason potentially that he's come in because there have been updates on several injured players. So first one, very positive news. Tight end Sam Laporta is back practicing, easing fears that the start of his season might be in jeopardy, and apparently he took a lot of snaps in practice as well, made some good contested catches, so hopefully his hip injury is nowhere near as bad as is first feared. Christian Izzian, the safety, cornerback, nickel, whatever you want to call him, is likely going to miss week 1 versus the New Orleans Saints with an undisclosed injury, but it is not thought to be serious at this point in time. But he's going to likely miss week 1, according to Dan. Edge Derek Moore is dealing with another minor injury that will see him sidelined till next week, which is annoying. That will rule him out the last preseason game and rob him of some reps, but it's not expected to derail his season at all. He's going to be back practicing next week. And then finally, the running back Isaiah Pacheco, former teammate of running back Kareem Hunt. He has picked up a back injury in addition to the knee injury that he is rehabbing. And when asked about it, Dan Campbell's words were, quote unquote, he is more concerned about this new back injury than the current knee injury. No timetable has been given for his recovery, but he was already expected to be struggling for week 1, but we don't know the severity of this back injury. And with Pacheco still nursing injuries, with Varkey still a bit banged up, and then not much proven NFL depth after that, probably seems the reason they've brought Kareem Hunt into the building. But great news about Sam to start off with, Ash. Obviously, we are so much better with him in this team. The worries were he would miss some time. It's great to have him back, but a few worrying updates elsewhere on some of these guys.
Yeah, glad to see Sam back. We all know, or at least hope, the season is going to have under Drew Petzing, the tight end whisperer. So what he's done with Trey McBride, what he's done with David Njoku. Now he gets his hands on Laporta, who is already a top 5 tight end. So it's great to see him back, especially since not only that, but the role he plays in the blocking game, because you look at the other guys we've currently got on the roster that are probably going to be on the 53. They're not exactly great blockers, so he would have been a big miss in the run blocking game and the pass blocking game if he was out. It's a shame about Moore because he already missed the first preseason game with an injury, and now he's going to miss the third one, which I bet the Colts quarterbacks are probably happy with, considering what he did last week. But yeah, it's sad to see him not get the reps because, yeah, that means going into the season, he'll be even further behind DJ Wanham. It'll probably take him a bit longer to overtake him as much as we were hoping he would. Same with Isian. Like, I know obviously he's a veteran, he's been around, but he was supposed to be our starting nickel come week one, and now that's kind of muddied up the waters there a bit. We'll probably still make the roster, but now you really got to pay attention to Abley versus McCreary on Saturday, bearing the lead for later. And then with Pacheco, well, as we'll get into in a bit, I didn't have him making the roster anyway, so him having a back injury just means, yeah, we just cut him with an injury settlement when it comes to Sunday, and it's an experiment we tried, and I'm glad that the team hopefully will move on from it. They've learned from their past mistakes with Emmanuel Mosley, Marcus Davenport, and the like. This time, hopefully, they'll be like, yep, okay, you're injured. We can't afford to carry you. I think go rehab and then sign back somewhere else.
I think Matt's words in the Discord were just cut him. I think that just kind of shows what the sentiment is around him right now. Just the other minor introductions, Dan was completely non-committal when asked on the status of Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph and Cade Mays. Obviously there were some titterings going around that they may be active towards the end of camp and miss the PUP list, but I think given his lack of words on that, especially with the two safeties, there's not going to be no difference there. With Kirby, it's weird. There's talks about him having, operations abroad and God knows what's going on with him. With Mays, I was a little sad not to hear, but it kind of sounds like, yeah, there's. I thought maybe we might get him back a little earlier, but it seems that the safeties, just if you're going by demeanour alone, both of them are probably going on PUP. And Mays, I mean, it seems like, yeah, before the buys, probably not going to happen now, and we're probably going to have to wait till the buy is done, just judging by the way Dan's demeanour was about it.
Yeah, we all know how much I love Kirby, and him being out only in injury, but he's also supposedly got a personal thing going on that's kept him away from the team. So he's not even getting the mental reps in. Is a bit concerning. But with Branch, we know he's been on the grass, he's been around the team. So they're both supposedly on the same timeline, the Brian Branch timeline. So hopefully we'll see him around the start of November, mid-November. Fingers crossed, but that means we're really trusting Clark and Isian and Maddox and that. And with Mays, yeah, he does. I think he's trying to be careful with what he says there after what happened when he first reported the injury. Oh, yeah, he'll be out for a while. Everyone thought he was out for the season, and then it totally turns out it'll probably be the first 4 or 5 weeks or so, so he'll be back by the bye, supposedly. I think he's learned, again, from the past where he's given definitive timelines. Oh, yeah, he'll be back in 2 weeks. Ask me again in 2 weeks. The old Kirby Joseph line from last season. He's learned from the reaction he got from that last season, and now he's been a lot less committal. He's hedging his bets, not only just to give it away for other teams, but also so he doesn't have the fan base coming down. It's like, oh, you said that Cade Mays will be back in 4 weeks, and now it's 6, and he's not back. Where is he? He's trying to protect him and the team and the player, perhaps even from that kind of backlash when they're not back on the timeline he's given.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just have to wait and see at this point. And again, we're just going off demeanour. Dan's not saying anything. We don't actually know. It's just, kind of getting that gut feeling. But yeah, that is all your news in terms of injuries and transactions and bits really in there. And with that done, we are now going to pivot. He has been waiting incredibly patiently since he came into the room. Thank you very much for that. But we have one of our favourite guests returning today. You will know him if you've seen our draft streams. Every time we look for news on the Indianapolis Colts, which is good because we're playing them in a few days, we turn to Ryan from Indianapolis Colts UK, who has very nicely agreed to give his time with us this evening. Ryan, how are you doing? It is good to see you again.
I'm fantastic. Can you hear me? Am I coming through loud and clear?
Yep, you're doing good. Think we're all right.
Perfect.
We're all good.
So I've just had some technical issues my end, which is been a bit annoying. But no, it's good. I love this time of the year, guys. I absolutely love it. I love hearing the pads smacking and the cleats. Do you know what I mean? It's almost time for sitting down in front of the TV on Sundays and watching Red Zone and little second screen on watching the Colts fall to defeats on a regular basis. I remember being quite pessimistic last time I joined you guys. I feel like I was quite well, I think pessimistic is probably the best word for it. I was not happy. I think was probably the best way I could describe myself when I saw you guys for the draft in sort of April. But I'm good. I'm glad that we've got football back. I'm glad college football's back, despite the fact it's behind a second paywall on DAZN. But apart from that, I'm fantastic. Looking forward to the season.
Yeah, going back to the old YouTube streaming again, I think is going to be the best way for that. That's how we used to do it before, do it the old-fashioned way, so we will get there with that. But like you say, this is the time of year when all 32 teams, no matter how slim the hope, everybody has a little bit of hope, so it's always fun for everybody. But you mentioned, obviously, you were a little more pessimistic when we spoke to you at draft time, but obviously the off-season is long, many things happen, signings happen, pre-season happens, players develop. Just give us a little flavour of what the off-season has been like for the Colts leading up to sort of the pre-season. Has anything major been going on? What's sort of been going on there in Colts land?
Well, the biggest question mark all summer, really, and the spring and the summer was Daniel Jones and whether Daniel Jones was going to be healthy and what the state, if he was going to be healthy, when would he be ready? And really, you couldn't really make a judgment on how good the Colts were going to be until you knew the answer to that question. Now, Daniel Jones, remarkably, I think super Daniel Jones, recovered from his Achilles tear really, really well. He was back. He participated throughout training camp. Not playing any of the preseason games. I don't think they want to rush him quite that far just yet. I think that now we know that Daniel Jones is going to be as close to a go on week one as possible. I think there's going to be a little bit more optimism around the supporters than there was maybe sort of 5-6 months ago. Pierce was on PUP literally like the other day. So I think that was a couple of people who were getting a little bit jittery about whether Alec Pierce would be back in time to have any preseason reps, or if he was just going to go wait until week one. We've locked up Jonathan Taylor to a new extension, which is a relief, because I'm not usually massively defending giving running backs loads and loads of contract extensions because of how quickly their legs wear and how many reps they take as a career back. Well, Jonathan Taylor seems to have just completely just taken that theory and straight out the window, because he's an ageless wonder. I'm trying to think now if there is anything else. Keenan Allen, that was a nice little pickup. We signed Keenan Allen a couple of weeks ago. Needed it in the receiver room. Obviously, again, with the doubts over Alec Pierce. Josh Downs was really the only established receiver in that room. So Keenan Allen brings a little bit of experience, and despite the fact he's like 34 or something, he consistently has 600, 700 yard seasons, regardless of what team he's on. So if he can bring any sort of, I would take 650 yards now if you asked for me. Bring a little bit of experience to the wide receiver room. CJ Allen, our second round draft pick, who we were really excited about in April, if you remember, had a bit of a slow start to training camp, a few injuries. He's back in the fold now. So now, with football on the horizon, I think I can say pretty confidently that 14 wins, 15 wins, maybe not an understatement for this year. Do you know what I mean? I think that there's I think we could be lining up in the Super Bowl come February. So yeah, realistically, I don't see anyone stopping us this year.
There we go. That's the optimism we like. That's what the start of the season is all about. We've got to believe. What is the point in not believing? Otherwise there's no point in doing this. And yeah, thanks for that Jonathan Taylor extension. That just getting that early in, so you push the price up for Jameer Gibbs. We appreciate that one, and for Bijan. So could have waited a little bit, but we were going to pay through our nose anyhow when all was said and done. Obviously, you mentioned CJ Allen there, the top pick in there. But obviously, it's been a weird off season for us. We had no rookie minicamp. We didn't get to see our rookies early. We've had less OTAs, so we've not got to see our rookies that much at all until pre-seasons happen. But obviously, I assume you guys did. Obviously, CJ Allen was the top pick there, but you had a really good draft class. AJ Halsey, safety from LSU, loved him to death. Jalen Farmer, Bryce Betcher, Paul knows him well, the linebacker from Oregon. George Gums, the edge out of Florida. Caden Curry from Ohio State. Seth McGowan, adore the hell out of him, the running back from Kentucky. And then obviously Dion Burks. How have the rookies found the off-season in general? I know you said C. Jones had a few knocks and that, but how have the rookies been faring? And are there any that have sort of caught your eye so far?
I think the rookie class is quite a good one. I think whenever a team doesn't have a first-round pick, as we didn't this year, I think you sort of tend to look at it a little bit with a few doubts. But I'm happy with the pickups that we got. A lot of focus on defense, as you said. Seth McGowan, I think a lot of people are impressed with him. I think he's actually going to beat out DJ Giddens for a roster spot. I mean, I think he was going to make the roster anyway. But DJ Giddens, who was on the roster last year, I don't think he's going to. I think he might be falling foul of the waiver wire, the cuts when that eventually comes. We've also got obviously you mentioned Halsey. I think I like Bryce Butcher. I like him. I like George Gums. I've heard good things about him off the edge. I'm pretty impressed, and obviously you can't judge a draft class this early in the season. You've got, if you ask me again in 12 months' time, obviously it'll be a little bit more of a better picture, but it's one of those ones, isn't it, where I bet I could find footage of myself in 2018 saying that Kamoko Toure had a great rookie minicamp and ended up with about 3 sacks or whatever it was when he was drafted out of Rutgers, I want to say. But no, we've also got, I think a lot of people forget that we had Justin Wally out of Minnesota, who's going to slot in at cornerback in that sort of in the slot, really, and taking over from Kenny Moore. I think he missed his debut season with an ACL tear, so I think that's going to be like another draft pick, really, because we're not going to have seen any of him. Lots of people are high on him, and as we mentioned, CJ Allen, loads of people are high on him in the building. The linebacker room needed a complete and utter sort of strip it down and start again, and a really good piece to build around, I think. And he's going to have the whole season to develop. The last time I remember a rookie linebacker coming out with this much height was Darius Leonard, sort of 2018, and while we all know how that turned out, one of the most athletic freak of a player I've seen in Indianapolis ever, and unfortunately a career that was shortened well too soon. But anyway, back to our draft. Yeah, very happy. Looking forward to seeing how they produce this year.
Yeah, lovely. And then obviously now coming into pre-season, like the pre-season focus for us has kind of been on us building out. It is for a lot of teams, building depth, etc. But every team has their own storylines. Obviously, so far the Colts, the lesser spotted draw against the Patriots, 13 apiece, and then a little bit of a dicky one against the Colts this week, 34-6. But what has pre-season been like for the team? What have you seen from them? What's it kind of all about? And is there anyone who's been surprising you now that the pads have gone on and they've been playing against real opposition?
Well, the big storyline really coming into pre-season was the backup quarterback job, and Anthony Richardson obviously being a really high draft pick a couple of years ago. Fallen by the wayside, definitely going to start sort of below Daniel Jones. There wasn't even a competition this year. He had that really freak injury with his orbital socket, like some sort of resistant band to the eye in the locker room prior to a game last year. So I think a lot of people were expecting maybe Riley Leonard, the former quarterback from Notre Dame, to sort of come in and take over that sort of number 2 spot. If you watch the game against Atlanta at the weekend, Riley Leonard had a really erratic performance. I felt a bit sorry for him because it was just complete and utter. I think he had 65 yards or something in his longest, and there was one pass that was a 33 of those. Do you know what I mean? And there was like 8 off 16 or something. So really tough performance. I think he will probably end up being the 3rd quarterback. I mean, teams tend to carry 3 quarterbacks anyway these days. It's sort of gone are the days when you would only carry 2 and have one on the practice squad. So I think they will both make the roster. But it's whether Anthony Richardson has done enough to elevate his sort of trade candidacy. He requested a trade in the off-season. I don't think he will have many suitors. I think it'll be more likely to have a season's backup and then maybe cut or maybe dealing away at the deadline. But apart from that, it's been pretty quiet, actually. And apart from off the field, anyway, on the field it's been quiet. Off the field, you've obviously got the head coach and the GM, who are both sort of really on the hot seat. Chris Ballard, especially at GM, I think. I said to you guys in the spring, it was going to be Super Bowl or bust, really, or playoffs or bust at the very minimum for this sort of regime. I like Shane Steichen as head coach. I think he's a really good play caller, but the clock is ticking and he's on the hot seat, unfortunately, because the results don't lie. And he's had 3 9-8 seasons or 8 and 9 seasons, and unfortunately, that's too many years of mediocrity. So I think the main eyes of fans will be on the owners in Carly, Gordon even, who will be making that decision in sort of 7 months' time or so. So where we are sort of this time in the spring, we could have a completely new GM, a completely new head coach, and if Daniel Jones doesn't work out, a completely new quarterback situation going on. So there's a little going on and a lot at the same time, but it's sort of both. On the field, it's okay. Off the field, it's a little bit more of a question mark.
So sort of an all or nothing situation. So what's the scenario? I'm taking that if it is so precarious. What has been his proclivity to play in the first teamers and that? Is it kind of all been just backups? Are they protecting the main players? Obviously, Anthony Richardson. Daniel Jones. They'll not play Alec Pierce, guys like that. But have they been playing many of the starters, or are they just protecting them because they know how critical this season is?
I think it's a case of protecting a lot of the main starters. I haven't seen a lot of Jonathan Taylor in preseason. I haven't actually. I watched the highlights of the Falcons game because I was out and I haven't seen them since. So I'm trying to sort of cast my mind back now. I don't think there was much Jonathan Taylor. But yeah, having the starters out there, even if it's for a quarter or so, you're risking a hell of a lot on you if that's the situation. And unfortunately, it's a decision for the GM and the head coach whether to be a little bit selfish and protect those players, or to put the good of the team first and maybe give those guys some reps. But as I say, it's a precarious position. I wouldn't want to be in any board meeting shit. I want to be in meetings between the owner and the GM. Because if the Colts start off 0-2 or 0-3, as we have been known to do in the last couple of years, then it could really turn nasty against the sort of the top decision makers.
Ash, I've been hogging this a little bit. I'll throw it over to you. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, so obviously we're playing on Saturday, and while the rookie class will be obviously the main focus of your attention, for us Lions fans, who's one player who's perhaps not a rookie, but someone we're going to probably see on Saturday who we should look out for, someone to sort of circle us, oh God, that guy's going to be a problem, be it an edge rusher or a wide receiver or a running back?
Good question. I'd say like a lot of the starters are going to be sort of rotated. I'm trying to think now. Obviously, I mean, if Josh Downs gets any sort of reps, he is, for me, such a good talent. Coming up on the end of his rookie contract, he's going to want to get paid. And I think the Colts should definitely do that. He is a ridiculously good receiver over the middle and really expanded his route tree over the last sort of 12 to 18 months. Again, I'm not sure how many reps he'll get on Saturday, but over the course of this year, I think he is the one who, maybe if a couple of years ago we had Michael Pittman sort of burst out, Alec Pierce last 2 years, I think Josh Downs is really waiting to explode. Obviously, we haven't even mentioned Tyler Warren, who, again, I'm not sure how many reps he will get on Saturday, but coming into his sophomore season, and what an incredible talent he is. One of the better rookies I've ever seen from a Colts player. And it's funny because my dad is a Bears fan, and they took Colston Loveland, and I was absolutely desperate they took Colston Loveland rather than Tyler Warren. And I think there was a lot of people going into last season thinking, oh well, which one was the better pick, which one's going to have a better career. But I think in the end, both teams took the right player for their scheme, for their offense. I think both those players are really talented and had really good rookie seasons. and I'm interested to see how they both do. Anyway, less of the Bears, obviously, who will, I no doubt, be challenging you for the division this year. Tyler Warren, Josh Downs. On defence, again, the cornerbacks, you've got Traveris Ward and Justin Wally, who I mentioned earlier, is the sort of the guy coming off the ACL injury, and he is sort of making his comeback. If he plays on Saturday, I would definitely watch out for him. There's a lot of people who are high on him in the building, and I think he could be a one to watch.
And then obviously this preseason game is not the only thing that connects our two teams, because on Monday we had our rivalries uniforms announced, with us having our defender Den ones. What's your opinion on the Colts ones? Because the stuff I've seen, they're one of the most liked ones out of the ace that were released.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that was the sort of the wider reaction. I saw them the other day and I was pretty horrified, to be honest with you. I wasn't a big fan. I mean, I don't really I'm a bit of a traditionalist in this sense. I don't really like the whole, I didn't like Colour Rush when that was a thing on Thursday night. So, look, it's an interesting design. It's not my favorite. I would have preferred all blackout jerseys. I think that was what a lot of people were hoping for. I think a lot of people were. I think what maybe has happened is I think a lot of people have looked at them and go, oh, they're quite nice. And then us Colts fans who have all been crying out for black jerseys and blackout uniform for years and years and years have just been a bit underwhelmed. But no, I think we play the Texans in that uniform. I don't know if it's twice or once we play in those uniforms. But yeah, should be fun. And we've got the Indiana Knights uniform, which we play in the season, and they're pretty cool. I like those ones. So yeah, no.
They'll question your legacy.
Yeah. Well, you can't be worse than the Jetlags, playing in their Cougar Jaguar print bottoms as if they're some person walking on Miami Beach. So it could be worse. It could be them, or you could be, if you've been on Twitter, the pictures of Caleb Williams modelling the Bears one. It's a good time if you go search those up on Twitter, because you'll see some interesting things.
Well, the Jags had the worst Colour Rush uniforms as well a couple of years back.
Yeah.
They looked genuinely like piss. It was not a why would anyone want to buy that? But yeah, I've seen the Caleb Williams stuff. So more fuel to the fire of
sit you down and say, right, here's £100. You have to predict how many wins the Colts are going to get correctly, or you keep all the money if you win. If not, it's the guillotine for you. What number you're putting the money on?
It's a good question, and it's history says between 8 and 9 wins. Now, this team, I think, has a ceiling of about 10, maybe 11 at a push, and a floor of maybe 3 or 4. So it's hard for me to get. That's such a wide range, and it all depends on if Indiana Jones can recreate what he did at the start of last season. If I'm going to be optimistic and say 9, which doesn't sound optimistic, but unfortunately that's where we've got to at this point in time. I think it's going to be 9-8, and I think everyone is going to be fired. I think the head coach is going. I think the GM is going. I think Anthony Richardson's going. I think they might get rid of Daniel. Everyone is leaving the building in January. I'll be surprised if we've got any players left when they've finished cutting and trading everyone. I think it's going to be complete and utter rebuild from 9-8, but we don't have a first round pick either because it's going to New York for Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
Well,
so what you're saying is
it's
going to be Jonathan Taylor.
We lasted about 20 minutes with the positivity, and now we're back to realism.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ash, carry on.
As I was going to say, so it's just basically going to be Jonathan Taylor and Sauce Gardner recreating the Will Smith Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I was just about to say, where's everyone gone? Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what it's going to be like. But then again, if they win 10 games and win a wildcard game in the playoff, then do you know what I mean? We could be back to square one next year and thinking, wow, do you know what I mean? If we go and add some pieces, then we could be making a deep playoff run. It is one of the most unpredictable Colt seasons I've seen in a long time, probably since the year that Andrew Luck retired, which was 7 years ago to the day. So that's an omen. I'm not going to say good or bad.
So, with obviously the third preseason game coming up, the rosters are going to be announced on Sunday. When we're done with this part of the show, we're going to be announcing ours. We still have some competition going on, and it's filtering through into the team. The defensive line battle is fierce at the moment. Our DB battles are fierce. Where on the Colts roster is it still wide open? Are there any areas where this is uber competitive going into the last game that you've still got concerns about, or are you pretty sure you know roughly what the 53 is going to be at this point? Where are we at with our overall thought on that roster?
I think most of it is going to be pretty set, to be honest. I think there's only a couple of positions that are sort of up for debate. I think the running back room, as I said to you earlier, I think Seth McGowan will beat out DJ Giddens, which I think a lot of us were high on Giddens coming out of college, but the production simply hasn't been there. So I think he will be an interesting cut. So I think the running back room outside of Jonathan Taylor is pretty much anyone's guess. I think the offensive line, the starters are pretty set. Whether we change sort of the right tackle, I think there's been a bit of debate whether it's going to be Jalen Travis or Blake Freeland at right tackle. I wouldn't be surprised if Blake Freeland is cut completely. So that will be interesting to see. That I think that's probably the biggest positional battle on the offensive line. I think a lot of the depth pieces could get moved up. Where outside of Pierce, Downs, and I've had to pull up an article because there's so many names on there. So you've got Pierce and Downs and Allen. Ashton Julian is on special teams, but outside of that, you've got loads of different players: Dion Burks, Anthony Gold, Nick Westbrook-Kane, Coleman Owen, who could probably all make the roster, but it'll probably only be two of them out of that four that I mentioned. So, running back outside of Taylor, sort of receivers, sort of 4, 5, and carry 6, and then sort of contentious areas going into Saturday.
Sweet. So obviously you've kind of mentioned, sort of what you're going to think this season's going to happen now, 9-8. But what are you obviously, what? Okay, I guess what do you reckon is going to happen? This obviously we're a little pessimistic. Do you think they can make it to the playoffs, or do you ultimately think that it is going to be that 9-8 record?
Well, it's really funny, isn't it? Because last season, if you look at the first 10 games, the Colts were number one in the offense in almost every measurable statistic. And it was sustainable. They were doing it most weeks. There was a couple of sort of ones where it came a bit down to the wire. The game in Berlin went to overtime. And then as soon as the injury hit for Jones, the wheels fell off completely and they brought in old man Phillip Rivers. So it's a funny one because can they make the playoffs? I think the team is there. I think that the players with the abilities they've got, I think there are lots and lots of playoff ability players on that team. I don't have enough faith to say that they will get there eventually. In the end, I think history, unfortunately, tends to repeat itself. I think they can make the playoffs if they work really hard and put up the same sort of offensive numbers they did at the start of last season. But I'm sick of people talking about the start of last season. Unfortunately, you've got to sustain it over 17 games. You can't just say, "Well, we were 8-2," because you were 8-2, but then you finished 8-9, and you lost out, and that is simply unacceptable. From where you were to where you, I don't care. I understand the injury, but unfortunately, these things happen. It's next man up, and it is a shame that it came in the most important position on the field, but to lose out in the manner we did, which was embarrassing every single week, it was just, there was no point watching half the time because you knew exactly what was going to happen. So I would like to say that if we can get sort of 10 wins, I think the division is winnable. I don't think Houston are anything to shout home about, nor do I think Jacksonville are anything to shout about. Tennessee is a dumpster fire. I don't know what's going on down there. So it could be one of those ones where we make the playoffs because everyone else falls apart and we sort of sneak in through the back door in sort of wild card position maybe. To answer your question in a very long roundabout way, yes, I think we can make the playoffs. Do I expect us to? No.
And obviously, the start of the season has not been kind to you. The Ravens and the Chiefs first up, and then obviously the Texans come to town. Then you got the Commanders and the Steelers. If you had to guess now with those five, so Ravens, Chiefs, Texans, Commanders, Steelers, what's their record after 5 games? What's acceptable for you? What's unacceptable?
It's a difficult start, but I like it. I think that you're going to have to play these teams anyway. You're best off getting it done in the season, seeing what you like. Do you know what I mean? And seeing how well you play. I think 3-2 would be nice. I think it's more likely to be 2-3. I think it would be very easy to go into those games against Baltimore and Kansas City and then come out 0-2. I think that would be a very, very plausible scenario. You've got to hope that you can sort of sneak week 1 against Baltimore potentially, and then come out of that 1-1. And then I suppose the next 3 games, if you sort of go 2-1, I think that would be ideal. I think 3-2 would be fantastic. I would snap your hand off for 3-2, but I think it's probably more likely to be 2-3 or 1-4, to be honest with you.
Yeah, 2-3 I think would be good, because then you've got a nice little fleshy schedule. The Titans, terrible. The Vikings.
Doing the division, and then suddenly you're sort of 6-8 wins. You're looking at being in the hunt at the very least. So who knows? We'll definitely see. I think it'll be an interesting season with lots of ups and lots of downs. But hopefully the downs are just Josh Downs touchdowns. So
there we go. We cater into Ash there with the jokes. He loves that one. You're getting a round of applause there. Ash, is there anything else you want to ask before we sort of wrap this one up? Because we're going to have to get to these 53-mans eventually.
Well, of course, it wouldn't be me without the bad jokes, but also talking about special teams. The Colts have got 2 kickers. Groupie versus Schrader. Who's winning the kicker battle?
It's funny. Schrader had a really good start to last season, but then got a rogue sort of roughing the kicker penalty against him and wiped out his season. They brought Groupie in, who had a really tough start in New Orleans, got cut, but he has been lights out ever since he came in. He's dominated the preseason battle. I would be very, very surprised if it is not Blake Gruber. I would put 98 pence out of a pound on it to happen. But I would also like to just shout out Rigoberto Sanchez and Luke Rhodes, the punter and the long snapper, who are both also incredible special teams players, and have been with the Colts for years. And I think are the longest serving members of the team, which just goes to show that is probably the only unit in the team that has had stability over the last couple of years. But yeah, really good special teams, and I would be very surprised if it's not Blake Groupie.
I just want to, hands up here. Ryan joined us midstream. We didn't do a pre-season with Matt. He did not mention long snappers because of me and Ash, Matthew. So I don't want any blowback that we're making long snapper jokes. That he was entirely unprompted on that one. So I love it. Ryan, as always, we really appreciate you joining us, coming on and bringing your Colts knowledge along. It's great to get all the guys over from here in the UK to be able to come on and chat about all things their NFL teams, and we really appreciate the time you've brought to us again. Do you again just want to sort of shout out yourself where people can find you or your work and what you're doing and about Indie Colts UK? And once again, thank you ever so much.
Look, guys, I love coming on every single year for the draft. If we happen to play the Lions, I'm more than happy to come on. I'd come on a Thursday if you wanted me to and review the fucking Lions game for the weekend. I love coming here. I love chatting football with you guys. So absolutely more than happy to join you guys. My Twitter is at IndieColtsUK. I don't use it very often, unfortunately, because I've just got way too many things to do than tweet about American football these days, unfortunately. You can get sort of a couple of pennies a year with that account. You're more likely to see me tweeting at Ryan Batty 13, which is my personal Twitter account, which is more of a general. I will tweet about Indianapolis quite a lot, but I also tweet about Man United, about music, about politics, about lots of different things, and that's probably the best way to find me outside of these yearly streams. So yeah, more than happy to come on. As I say, guys, love it every time. Thank you for having me, and best of luck on Saturday and for the rest of the season.
I appreciate it. Just quickly before you go, if it all does go tits up, and you end up picking one in the draft, who is the new quarterback of the future you'd like? Because I know you like your college ball.
Well, that was a dagger, and I'm going to forgive you because we traded the first round pick to the Jets.
Oh God, shit, no, yeah.
I was shaking my head exactly as I was like, no, don't say it, no.
I thought I was being clever there. Oh, shit.
I'm going to forgive you out of the blind loyalty I have for coming on every year. But
all
anymore
right.
like that, it's not happening again.
So, oh my God, I am so sorry. I am usually a lot more subtle about that. Who are you going to pick with the 33rd overall pick? I'm sorry, Ryan. You go and have a great day. I feel awful now. You know what I mean? That is just sort of
It's
like
all
a question to ask, and you could trade someone. Who knows? You never know.
There's a first round pick to be traded on this team somewhere, whether they get Quentin Nelson out the door or Jonathan Taylor or whoever. But we'll see what it comes this time next year at draft time. But thanks, guys. Love coming on as always. Have a great rest of the one.
And you.
Thanks ever so much, Ryan. You take care. Oh my God, I feel so bad now.
Yes, when he started saying it, I was shaking my head like, don't. Yeah, they traded it to the Jets.
It's next year's draft. I don't know we said it during there, so it's crazy. But massive thanks there to Ryan for giving his us thoughts on the Colts going into this week. Obviously, always a font of knowledge there, so do follow him if you get the opportunity. Apologies if there has been a few little issues with the streams. It cuts out, but it comes straight back again. As I mentioned, we've had like 3 months of drought over here, and it's finally broken. But what happens when it breaks is you get tons of rain and you get tons of storms, and it's flooded everywhere around here. So it's just messing with the connection a bit. But for the most part, it's remaining stable. If it does go a bit funny, just refresh the stream. The volume will be back to normal. Ryan's audio was a little choppy, but I think that was just his. He was having issues getting on anyhow. He's even in a worse area than we are for the weather. But again, appreciate him. I'm sorry about the first overall pick thing. My God, I'm never going to live that down. That's why Matt does this and not me, because, it is what it is there. Carlton asks you, are you going to mention Simone Biles during the game again? How did you mention Simone Biles during an NFL game? Is that all about
I got mixed. Yeah, I got mixed up with who her husband is, and let me just check. Even I literally just had it up. I should know this. Is he on the team? Is he on the Colts? Are we going to see him on Saturday? Oh, yep, Jonathan Owens. Yep, so we're going to see him on Saturday.
All right, so we're getting a Simone Biles mentioned there. You probably will. Matt is still going to be. Well, he's still going to be ill. Matt is still ill. So it will be me doing it with Ash. Hopefully, providing not knocked out all over there. So. Yeah, we will be here for that, and we'll get lots of pop culture references in because we're pop culture guys. So we will make sure we've got that one there. Ant/Ash, weren't you high on Anthony Richardson, or was that Matt? That was Matt. Don't put that on us. I don't know. I can't speak for Ash actually. So
I kind of was. It was. I was like, you remember? Like I always give myself that one by a one Florida player. I'm like it was him because I could see the tools there. It's just, they have not been able to develop him. It's very much Trey Lance 2.0.
It's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I was really cold on him. Matt was really hot on him. And Ash was somewhere in the middle. So there where we're at. Ryan is in the chat there. He goes, thanks for having me on as usual, guys. Probably for any technical issues. We've had some as well, so don't worry about it. But really, really appreciate you. And good luck for the Colts this year, especially when you play the Vikings. We want you to absolutely trash them. Any other bits I've missed while we've been there? Just mentions about Kirby. Apparently Kirby's been to why do I keep wanting to say Nepal? It's not in Nepal, it's Panama. I don't know what's going on with them at the minute. No one does, so we kind of just got to wait and see on there with that. So Karen LePage goes, what were Kirby, Branch and TA baptised in last year? Were they all baptised last year, the three of them? Right,
Kirby and TA were. I can't remember if Branch was. Jesus.
Do we get a look at the priest who's doing this? Maybe the priest is like Matt LaFleur or someone like that. Yeah. Just what, the priest is Matt LaFleur?
No, he got baptised. So when he got his
TA got baptised. Kirby got baptised.
Yeah. Branch did. And when he got that one game suspension for the Chiefs thing, he did it during that week that he was off.
Is that it? Do we have to stop our DBs from getting baptised? Is that what's been going wrong all these years? This might be an investigation we have to... Maybe we've not had a good DB since Darius Slade because they've all been baptised while they've been on the Lions.
It's our own version of the 49ers substation. We need to find the baptism tub they've been using and burn it.
Tainted holy water. Who could... It's Matt Patricia! He's tainting the holy water here. He's getting his vengeance, or Bob Quinn.
It's that Pope. The Pope is a Chicago's Bears fan. He cursed Sam Laporta by touching him, and he's cursed everyone else by unblessing the holy water they were baptized in. We've got
right. We need to check that.
Have
they all been baptized since the Pope was since the Pope was announced? We're going to have to check that out.
Yeah, because that was before last season. Because it was June last off season. Laporta got married, and then he got blessed by him.
Because if this is biblical, we're going to need to get Amun-Ra involved and get some Egyptian gods on our side. We can't fight a deity with Jeff Daniels and Peyton Manning as much as we can try.
Yeah. 8th of May 2025 was when he was elected, the current Pope. So it's on him.
Oh. Karen goes, it's not a priest, it's a local preacher guy. Well, we're going to have to do this guy's credentials and see. He's probably a Bears fan. They're putting something funny in that is a conspiracy theory I can run with. I appreciate that. You're bringing that to our attention. That is a conspiracy theory we are going to run with now. The baptisms are affecting our DBs. You don't see any other offensive linemen or anything getting that, so... Does that mean the new NFL rule doesn't apply to Branch? Is baptism a get-out clause? Oh, the new rules that you get three strikes and then you get a game suspension for relative things. Yeah, Brian Branch is going to lose. I would happily let Brian Branch miss 2 games a year for 6 targeting offences on the Packers and the Vikings. Like that is a trade-off I'd take.
True, but the thing is, as it carries on, because they're going to do this season, if they do carry it on, let's say he finishes with 4, he then goes down to 3 at the start of the new season, so he already misses week 1.
Wow. Apparently Laporta got his marriage blessed as well, and he's dealing with injury issues. So
exactly, yeah.
Right, yeah. Thank you, Karen. That is our new conspiracy. That is going to be our research for the week. All our injured players, we're going to research timelines against baptisms, and we're going to oh God, how do you protect yourself from baptism? It's like, is this a reverse thing? We're going to have to get you usually use holy water and garlic and stuff to protect yourself. How do we protect ourselves from holy water? How do we...
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, dear.
Whatever infernal water. Oh, we rebaptized them in Flint with the infernal water there, and it'll balance out.
Oh, don't start that. That's a very sensitive subject around there, so let's not. Karen goes, I'd take that trade-off too. I think most people would take 2 games of Brian Branch suspension so he could meter out punishments around the league. And I think the rule with that, by the way, is it's 12 months for the offence, isn't it? So when you commit the offence, it's got to take 12 calendar months to come off your record. Kind of like points on a driving license. It's not just for the year. So saying you can't load up at the end of the year, then get a fresh slate at the start of next. It's 12 months.
So you finish the season. As I said earlier, if you finish the season with 4, basically whatever you finish the season with, it goes down 1 for the start of the next season. So if you finish on 2, you go down to 1. If you finish on 1, you go down to 0. If you finish on 3, which is eventually go down to 2, etc. So that's what I'm saying. If someone gets 4, like a Branch might, like a Al-Shazir might for the Texans, it goes down to 3 and you automatically have that week 1 suspension.
Okay. Grandhauser goes, use distilled holy water. Maybe that is the way to go. Right, we need to get onto these 53-man rosters because we are dragging our feet on that, but it's good fun. We here are up for a little bit of silly on this pod, so we don't mind whatsoever. Right, given that I am having a few little bitty issues with the stream this evening. Hopefully it's nothing too bad, but I will share the page, and I don't know how I'm going to do this. Matt has sent me his. Oh Lord, where are we? Has he sent it me in a Google Doc formula? He has. Lovely. Where is it? Oh, no, I don't want to download it. I just want to open it. That is a silly thing. I don't know where he's left it. Okay. Good Lord. Right, we're just going to have to... Briefly, I don't know what to do here. I'm just trying to find that. Cara goes, like a long lap penalty in MotoGP, take it whenever you want within a specified range, indeed. Is there a Brian Brunch GoFundMe account set up yet?
Not yet. Wouldn't be surprised if there is one made soon.
What can we like stock up? What can we stock up, like get out of suspension free cards or something like that? So
It's-
1 game suspension, no, got to get out of jail free card here. So
Yes, because it's obviously to do with like the dock of pay, because it's stuff like, oh yeah, if you only commit one during the season, you get 50% of it back, etc. Like if you've seen some of the other ones, if you commit only one, like other one, you get all of it back, which feels bad for all the charities because that's where the suspension money goes to. So.
Oh, this is fun. So what Matt has done, he sent it me in with an extension that I can't open. So I cannot open his 53-man roster up, which is a pain. Why didn't he just send a Google Doc? Why can't we do Google Docs? This is just... Oh, absolute just chaos here. Trying to get this done right. I mean, where are we at? Right, I'm going to have to do it where we're going to do mine and Ash's, and then we will add Matt's to the equation. But I should have checked it earlier, but I've been that busy trying to arrange everything that it's just, unless has he not put it in planning docs? Has he not put it in docs? He's not put it anywhere. Why not put it in the Google Drive? The Google Drive is unless he's listening. Matt, if you're listening, send it me in a different link and we'll add you to it. But for now, we're going to have to do it as we do. So bear with me a minute, folks. Sorry about this. I'm going to put up my screen. Let's just make sure there's nothing. Make sure there's nothing.
Of course, as soon as Ryan leaves, the Colts do something and extend Sanchez to a new contract.
Oh, what, Rigoberto?
Yep.
We all love special teamers, don't we? There we go. Right, nothing incriminating up that can be seen. Left monitor, bring that up. We are on here. So we have the roster as is. It has been fact checked by Ash as well, so we've got everybody on here. So I think at this point, given there's two of us this evening, we can colour code these as to who's going in, and then we can uncolour code whoever's not getting in. But this is the roster as it stands. Ignore all the little colours and stuff down here because that's what we did last year. I guess NFI PUP, we're going to have to put people on there as well, and we can maybe then colour code people who we think will be on the practice squad when all is said and done. So are we ready, Ashley Soden, to get through this? Lovely. Right, we're going to start off with the quarterbacks. Obviously, Jared Goff, Joshua Dobbs, and Luke Altmaier on the roster. I'm going to assume, this is a bold assumption, but I'm going to assume Jared Goff makes your roster.
Yes, he does.
There we go. Right, we're going to put the people who are in green in this green because it works better, and then we'll work on. So now the big question is, who are we going to take at backup quarterback? Because as we were talking about the other day, this is very much a name your flavor type. Do you want to take the closest iteration to what Jared Goff could be if he goes down injured? Or do you want to take the rushing quarterback who can add a little bit of diversity to the running back room and give you something a little bit different? Or do you want to try and keep all three in one shape or another? I have selected Joshua Dobbs as my second quarterback to go, with the assumption I'm going to sneak Luke Altmaier through onto the practice squad. I don't think anyone's going to take him, and I'm going to keep both. I don't know if you can do it the other way round. Who have you got as your quarterback, your second one, Ash?
Neither of them.
Ooh.
I'm doing some roster jiggery pokey. So I'm going to try. So I'm also going to try and put Altmaier to the practice squad because he's a UDFA. As much as he's been good in preseason, he hasn't really showed out. So I'm not scared another team's going to pick him up. But with Dobbs, he's a veteran. We can do the whole thing where we don't initially sign him, bring him on. He doesn't fully guarantee his contract then. And to be honest, if another team picks him up, fair enough. Whatever, we still got Altmaier. We can look around the veteran market, see if we can bring someone else in. They're basically there as a clipboard holder. If Goff goes down, the season's fucked anyway. And like the old Colts head coach say, we don't practice fucked. So if Dobbs is lost to another team, so be it.
Okie dokie, so we're unanimous on Jared Goff. I have Joshua Dobbs going. Ash has no second quarterback going as of yet. Moving into the running back room, Jahmyr Gibbs, Isaiah Pacheco, Jacob Sailors, Sione Vaki, Travion Williams, Jabari Small, and recently signed Roy Dell Williams. Gonna assume there is consensus over Jahmyr Gibbs here. I think we can safely say that one is what it is. Isaiah Pacheco. Now this is the interesting one. Now the new back injury is in the equation, and we just don't know anything about him and when he's going to be ready for. Now this is where potentially injury designations start coming into play. Do you have Pacheco making? I do. Purely for now, because I don't know enough about the injury, and I think they're going to take him regardless, as long as it's not a season-ending thing here. But are you taking him, or are you designating something with him?
I'm just cutting him outright. As I alluded to earlier, I'm hoping and / predicting that the team learns from its mistakes, and when some of the other guys I'm going to get onto in a minute have looked pretty good in pre-season, well, one definitely in the games, one in camp, and has a vital part on the team in terms of special teams, I can see us looking elsewhere for a veteran back, a certain one that was just released by the Cardinals and knows our OC very well.
Yeah, but he's hurt, isn't he?
Yeah, I think it's only supposed to be a 2-week injury.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Okay.
It's one of these. Yeah.
So I've got Pacheco going, but you do not. Jacob Sailors, does his impressive preseason and his body of work from last year make him the roster, Ashley?
Yes.
I have him as well. So that is a unanimous there for Jacob Sailors. And I'm not even going to insult you by asking this one. There's no way you're not taking Sione Vaki, right? Because special teams menace there.
Exactly.
Obviously, you've only got 3 so far. I've got 4. Are you taking a 4th out the 3 remainders?
Currently, no. On my one, I have tried to get Travion Williams back on the practice squad, though, as the veteran guy.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave these guys blank for now because we're going to do... I know this is not the best way to do it, but I've had to do this show at the last minute. Usually Matt does it, so I'm going to try and do it the way that I can. So we'll go back and do the practice squad afterwards. Hopefully people can see it all right. Right, moving into the receiver room. I've not done X, Y, and Z like we normally do. I've just put them down here as they are. So Isaac Teslar, Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tay Martin, Greg Dortch, Dominic Lovett, Lucky Jackson, Malik Cunningham, and Tom Kennedy. So... are we doing a 4 for sure of Tesla, Williams, Brown, and Dortch?
Yes, for me, yeah.
Yep, that is to be expected there. And again, I apologise, Matt, but I can't open up the link you've sent me for yours. But we will put any others in there. So Dortch is number 4. Are you taking a receiver 5?
Yep, and it's the guy who showed out in pre-season, the guy who got the block for Dobbs' 50-yard run, and the guy who has been contributing on special teams, Tay Martin.
I also have Tay Martin going, so great minds think alike. So we have a unanimous 5 there. I am sticking at 5 for now because with the next group you're going to see. Are you taking any of Lovett, Jackson, Cunningham, or Kennedy?
No, unfortunately not.
No, Tom Kennedy is forever going to be the practice. No one's going to take him off us. He is forever ours. Right, moving into the tight end group, we have Sam Laporta, Brock Wright, Tyler Conklin, Jackson Meeks, Thomas Gordon, and Zach Horton, fullback extraordinaire. I think Sam is going to be healthy, so no issues of putting him on the roster there. Brock Wright and Tyler Conklin both going?
Yep, same, yep.
Yeah, as much as I think, Brock Wright we could do better at this moment in time, we can't until we get someone else in the building. I have Jackson Meeks going as tight end 4 and wide receiver 6, giving us a bit of both options there. Do you have Jackson going to the roster?
Yeah, he sealed it with that play on special teams at the last kickoff of the game, forcing out the fumble.
Sealed it
basically, he's the new Shane Zylstra.
Sealed it with a kiss. Wait, you hated Shane Zylstra?
Exactly, and now I've got one that I like. The team's upgraded. It's great.
All right. So he's not a new Shane Silstra. He's actually good.
He's good, exactly. He does the same Silstra role of flex tight end that can go out of receiver and special teams. But it's one I like because he can actually has upside rather than Zane Silstra, who was just Zane Silstra.
Okay, there we go. Are we taking Thomas Gordon, or Zach Horton?
Unfortunately, not. No.
Okay, those two are done. Right, we're going to go to the offensive line. I'm just going to go through it by position. So, at left tackle, and again, these aren't give us a bills, they are just what they are. Penei Sewell, Giovanni Manu, and Devin Cochran. I assume Penei's going to get a unanimous pass here to get on the roster. He who must not be named from Canada, yay or nay?
Nay, he's staying on the PUP forever. He's gone. He's done.
Okay, and Devin Cochran.
No.
I have Devin Cochran going. I've got him as my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th man on there. I think he has been around the league, just got a little bit of experience should we need it. Left guard spot, Christian Mahogany, Ben Barch, and this was, fan lads who did this, but Colby Soulstall is listed on it. They're just offensive linemen for the most part, but assuming Mahogany is going, are you taking either of Ben Barch or Colby Soulstall?
Nope.
Me neither, I don't think. No, I don't. So they are where they are. Centre, Cade Mays. Now this is where So, do we have to put Mays on and then put him on? How do we do this? Does he have to be part of the 53?
So now with that new rule, you get two of them that you can do as you make your 53, where you can just put them on IR to return and they can come back. You don't have to do the whole keep them on the 53, then put them on. So
he doesn't have to be part of my 53?
No.
Right.
No.
So are you doing it with the IR designation or are you not using it?
IR to return.
Oh, fuck, right. We're going to have to...
You're going to have to put a new colour in for it.
Lord, just the professionalism on this pod. You can tell we're just a load of part-time enthusiasts who do this. What colour are we going to do? Let's do purple. Purple looks cool.
Yeah.
There we go. Purple. IR to return. So we get two of those. Right, that means I've actually freed up a spot now. So Eric Hunter, welcome back to the roster. Joke.
Hey.
Not actually a joke. That linebacker room I'm really struggling with it, but there we are at. So Cade Mays, we've got unanimous return to the roster. Juice Scruggs.
Yep.
Me as well. We have unanimous. God, I don't know. Yeah, we are unanimous. I want to say unanimity, but it's not a word. Seth McLaughlin.
No.
Me neither. Michael Neese is probably going to some form of IR or injury thing. He's badly done up, so I don't have Neese. And Gus Hartwig, assuming that practice squad is his ceiling. Yeah. All right. Tate Ratledge, of course he's going to go.
Yep.
Don't need to insult your intelligence there. Miles Frazier.
Yep. That's the new Kawidi Awashika.
I've got Miles Frazier going as well. Melvin Priestley.
Nope.
Me neither. Blake Miller at right tackle. Assume that is there. Larry Borum.
Yep.
To there. Mason Miller.
Nope.
I flirted with this. It was between Mason Miller and Tyler Conklin for me. So I was thinking about him, but I didn't quite go with him. So what have we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 unanimous picks on the roster. 3 more for me. So I've got 23. And then Cade Mays is, he's not going to be so... Not many on the offense here. You are going to go short this year, potentially. You've only got 20.
Yeah,
so
I've only got 20.
You're loading up on the defense.
Maybe.
All right, I'm just going to quickly move back into the chat just to make sure I've not missed out. So that is our offense out the way. Let me just unhide this. I may not have missed anything. Grandizer's put in all our links and stuff in there. Appreciate you, Grandizer. If you have any thoughts about this as we're going on, then please do just let us know. Right, we'll just go straight back into it again. Defensive ends, again, not giving them any specific designations, but Aiden Hutchinson, going to assume That's both of us there. Derek Moore.
Yep.
Yep, that's 2. Peyton Turner.
Nope.
Tyre West.
No.
Anthony Lucas.
No.
That is the same for me as well. On the other DN side, Tyler Lacey.
Yes.
Do I have Lacey? Yes, I do.
So those are based big end.
They're based. Isn't that what the young kids say? What based is a DJ Wanham. DJ spin that shit. I'm gonna enjoy that this year, even though I'm not as high on him. Ahmed Hassanin, has he done enough to make the roster? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That is a hell yeah. We should have a category for hell yeah on there as well. Eric O'Neill, the one that's just hanging around like a pesky little fly who won't go away. Does he make it, given that you've given so few spots to the offense?
Fortunately not, no.
It really pains me, but they're not giving him enough reps. He got 9 the other day, so I would really like him to, but he has not right now. Right, D tackles. Aleem McNeil.
Yes.
Skylar Gill Howard.
Yes.
Yeah, baby. Along came Polystar Ben Stiller. I'm wearing that joke out now, I know.
Unfortunately not.
Well, he's got Hollywood to go back to. Miles Adams.
No.
Okay. Tyleek Williams.
Yep.
Levi Onwuzurike.
Yep.
Yep, I have him as well, and I've just realised we're not doing these two. Now, the pressure point. Meki Wingo.
Nope.
Neither have I. I've got Meki Wingo missing out. Chris Smith.
Yes.
So do I. We're thinking along the same lines here. Probably type of... Meki Wingo is now redundant now that Skylar Gill Howard's doing so well. That's my line of thinking with that one. So, there we go. Linebackers. Derek Barnes.
Yep.
Devin White.
Yes.
Ooh, you hesitated there. I was like, ooh. Trevor Nowaski.
Yes.
Do I have Nowaski? Yeah, because I know they love him, and as much as I want it to be Hunter's
Special
spot,
teams.
they're not going to give it him there. Right, we're going to get into upset territory here now. Joe Barkey.
Yes.
Right, you're on your own there.
I know, because you've got Hunter.
I know, and I bet you don't.
Unfortunately not, no.
No, I get it. I do. See, for me, my reasoning is they like special teams, but Eric Hunter's got more of a future in the NFL than Joe Barkey does as a first-teamer, so I would take his potential. But you could probably sneak him through to the practice squad more, so I think someone's going to sneak him, but I'm of course going to put him in there. Jack Campbell.
Yes.
Malcolm Rodriguez.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Jimmy Rolder. What are we doing with him?
There's my second IR to return spot.
I'm guessing, IR to return we can only use now, so it's not like we benefit from not using them now, right? This is the only time we can use them.
Yes, with those, so we can do it after we've done the cut downs. So for the rest of the season, but we only get, I think it's 8 more for the rest of the season. So let's say,
do these two count as part of the 8?
I think they're separate.
Oh, they're separate. Right, that's fine. In that case, I can change my roster around a bit here because I didn't realise I could do that with him. So I'm not cheating, I promise. I just wasn't sure what I could do with him. So we're going to have Rolder as it. I'm the same. I think he should start because he's missed a lot of training. He's obviously missed all of preseason. Those reps would have been vital for him, been ready for the season to go. I think you just take your time with him when he is done. Troy Reader.
Nope.
Eamon Ogbong-Bamiga.
No.
Okay, that is the linebackers done. Quarterbacks, Rock Ya-Sin.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Ennis Rakestraw.
Yeah.
I do, even though I think he might be in more danger than people think. Khalil Dorsey.
Yep. Best gunner in the league.
You are on your own. And mind you, can I fit him in now? I've got an extra spot. I can. Now that Rolder's gone, I've got room for one more. I know they like him. So, actually, Khalil Dorsey, you've been saved because Jimmy Rolder has sacrificed himself to the IR list. Eco Boy Dowie.
Nope.
No. Okay, DJ Reed.
Yep.
The DJ. Roger McCreary.
Yep.
Roger McCreary. To Nick Whiteside.
Yep.
Me too. Unanimous for Nick Whiteside. He has done enough there. Bump Cooper.
Nope.
Eric Scott Jr.
Nope.
Would have been very tough given that he's literally just arrived about 2 hours ago. Okay. Classified as Nickelbacks here, but whatever. Christian Isian.
Yep.
Providing the injury isn't too serious, which it doesn't appear it's going to be. And Keith Abney.
Yep.
Yep, we are going, of course, with Keith Abney. Then finishing off with the safeties. So, Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, are we both assuming are going to pup?
Yep, staying on the pup, yeah.
Good lord, I need more colours. I'm running out of I'm running out of colours to use. Let's grey, shades of grey, pup. And then we need to God, why do I have more things than Matt did last year? So Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch both to grey. Do I throw the right shade of grey? Whatever. 2 and 2. Avante Maddox.
Yep.
We are in. Chuck Clark.
Yep.
Thomas Harper.
Yep.
Yep. Unanimous for the Harp. Dan Jackson.
Nope.
Action Jackson. No. Jason Taylor.
Nope.
And Amaris Brown.
Nope.
And then special teamers, because special teams lives matters. None of them have got any competition. I don't think we've literally bought in any competition for any of them.
Nope.
So I think it's just safe to say these are going, yeah?
Yeah, 100%.
2, 2, and 2. Which makes... How many players have you got altogether?
I have a grand total of 50.
You have 50, so you're doing what they did last year and going with 3 less. I do have myself a 53 here. So as you can see, greens have been unanimous picks by a pair of us. Yellows are for ones that I have made and Ash hasn't. And blue are ones for Ash has made that I haven't. And he's just done that with Joe Barkey. And then obviously Pup is going to be Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. And then we've got Cade Mays and Jimmy Rolder on IR to return. So that is who we have got going. And remind me, what are you doing with your 3 spare spots?
So one will probably be Dobbs coming back after cut downs if he makes it through the veteran stuff, signing a handshake agreement to come back. I have the team signing Will Hernandez to back up left guard to replace Ben Barch, because I haven't seen enough from him, to be frank. He's had 2 padded practices, and while he was supposed to be like the ultimate backup, just haven't seen it. It's been too injury prone. And then the other spot is probably going to go to a veteran running back, potentially Trevion Williams, if he makes it through the waivers and that. Potentially someone else like a Trey Benson, if we're able to do that.
All right, I'm going to add that one in there, just that you've got Will Hernandez signing and making your roster. Just so we've got another one in there for you. Blue. Okay, we have that one there. And then in terms of practice squad, we need a colour for practice squad. One last colour. What can we go with here? What have we not got so far? Orange. Let's do orange. So practice squad now 16 men, right? We're at 16. And then IPP designation if you want, but Hassanin is here, and I don't believe anyone else qualifies this year. So let's go through them again to try and build our practice squad. So, Luke Altmaier, practice squad, yay or nay?
Yes.
Yeah, is a yay for me. When I can do this right. 2. Trevion Williams, you've already said you want him on the practice squad, correct?
Yep.
Yep, that'll be a 2 there. I would also have Jabari Small in mine. Have you got Jabari Small making it? It depends who his injury is, I guess.
Unfortunately, not. I don't.
No. Okay. Well, we'll come back to that. We'll try and do a consensus with this board. Roydell Williams.
No.
No. Okay. Lucky Jackson.
No.
Tariq Black.
No.
Malik Cunningham.
Yes.
I'm the same. They see something in him, don't they? Don't need to insult the crowd here. Tom Kennedy, practice squad king.
Yep.
Clearly going on there. Dominic Lovett.
I also have him on there.
You have him on the practice squad. I think they'll try and get him there. He might get pinched, but we'll see. Thomas Gordon or Gordon Thomas.
Nope.
Zach Horton.
Yes.
I do have Zach Horton on there as well. I think they like to have the fullback option up their sleeve. Manu is no. Ben Barch.
Yes.
Got him there. I'd agree as well. Colby Sorsdal, I think they're going to be done with him now, personally. I don't know if they'll want to keep him, but do you have him making it?
Yes.
Right, let's...
He was literally the last guy in. He was the last guy in for me on it.
Let me just... So we can cross the ones out there and then maybe come back, just depending on how many we've got. Thomas Gordon, you're out. Giovanni Manu, you're out. Colby, okay. I'll buy in on that one. We'll see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got 8 on offense so far. Seth McLaughlin.
Yes.
Ooh.
Because I can see the team. I'm stealing this from quite a few of the beat journalists. Keeping him on the practice squad using elevations, and by the time you get to week 4, when he's used up the elevations, someone would have got hurt. You can then sign him to the active roster.
Yeah, true. I think Nisa's injury is going to rule him out most of this year, isn't it? Gus.
Yeah. No, unfortunately not. He doesn't make it for me.
No, he's only just got here. Melvin Priestley.
Nope.
Mason Miller.
No.
Oh, really? I think Miller will, so I'm going to circle back to that one. Let's see how many we've got there. Peyton Turner, I think they'll be done with him. Yeah, he's gone. Tyre West, I think he's gone. Anthony Lucas.
No.
No, I think he's gone as well. Ben Stiller.
Yes.
I agree. I would like Ben Stiller to stay here so I can keep making along came Polly jokes. Miles Adams.
No.
Ooh, I think you might have gone to bat for Miles Adams. I'll leave him just that for them. Mekhi Wingo.
Also no.
I think they're done with him entirely.
I think so, yeah.
I think so. 3 years is enough, right? I think that's where we're at.
Exactly.
Eric O'Neill. Yes. Yes. Agreed. Troy Reader.
Nope.
Done. Amen Ogbong Bamiga.
Nope.
Eco Boyidoe.
Nope.
Bump Cooper.
Yes.
Ooh, got Bump. I will defer to you there because I don't know enough about him. But yeah, we'll go there. Eric Scott Jr.
Nope.
No, I think he's just got here. Dan Jackson.
Yes.
Yeah, feels like Dan will make it there. Jason Taylor, the new DB.
Nope.
No, not been here that long. And Amaris Brown.
Yep.
I do think they will keep one on there with him. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, you had a couple that I didn't. Oh, hang on.
So I think the ones I had that you didn't were Saws. Did we convince you on Saws?
No, we Sawstall's in.
So one of the ones I had on there was Hunter. Obvious reasons.
Oh, okay,
I still love him.
That's because I've got him on there. He's going to have to be an orange-yellow hybrid.
And then the other one is Cochrane that I have on the practice squad. Remember what we did with Jamarco Jones years ago before he became scout and Inter?
So you've got Cochrane and Hunter on there.
Yeah.
So there's one practice squad as well. We'll just put PS on there so that we know they're done. In that case, I've got 2 left. So I would keep Jabari Small for mine.
Yeah.
And I would keep Mason Miller. I think, Mason. Because given that they've played him at left guard, they obviously see something there with him. I think that's where it's at. So those are our rosters, everybody. It's a little confusing, but hopefully not too bad. Green's are consensus picks for the roster. Yellows are guys I would take. Blues are guys Ash would take. And then orange is practice squad. There are 18 there, but we've got differences over 2 players. But those are the guys, ideally, that we would take in that scenario. And then if they're crossed out, they're done entirely. So, I mean, feeling relatively confident about this so far. You? Yeah?
Yeah, like, you can tell by the amount of greens we've got, and then obviously the purples, that I think most of those people will have in. Like Meeks, I know, is a bit debatable. People debated between him and, say, McLaughlin. I know people will debate between Stille and not being on there. There's Eric Hunter versus Joe Barcher, and there's another one that people debating on. But the fact that we've got so much green there, I think everyone else will agree with those greens. Just as where we are with the roster, it's only really 5 or 6 spots that are being battled out right now.
So what's most encouraging for me is the amount of green in the second column. Last year, players in the second column, they were like, especially at corner, there were guys off the street in column number 2 who we didn't have going on there. The fact you've got so much green in number 2 shows you depth behind the starters. I know again, I was using our lads, they're usually pretty good, but for the most part, those guys in the second column are going to be the second column. So, and then you've got a decent amount of green, and you've got a lot of practice squad in the third as well. So I think the depth is shown that it is there, and it is quite close. A question I would ask though, all this is said and done with all these guys on here. We've got one more game left against Washington. Obviously, there are still some positions to be eked out. Is there anyone in your mind who can change that orange to a green with a great performance against Indianapolis? Because obviously there's still a few spots there. Can anyone still change your mind, or are you set on this now?
So I guess, well, obviously, other than Dobbs versus Altmaier, if one of them has a really, really good game and shows, actually, they can do this, because obviously, with mine, I don't have either of them on there right now. Then for sure, Ben Barch, just because we haven't seen it, and if you can come out against the Colts and, play a good game, do some good run blocking, not really give up many pressures, I can be convinced. It's just because I haven't seen it, so why can I trust it?
Yeah.
And then still, I guess the defensive line, Stille and O'Neill, if they play a lot of snaps and show stuff, then it becomes harder, because you obviously need defensive line depth, because it's a beat-up position. You're going to constantly crash into big, heavy hog mollies on the other side. You're going to get hurt. So we need that depth there. So if they can show it, great. But I think everyone else, for the most part, has got it locked down. They know where they are. Maybe Hunter as well. If Hunter can just show out and show the team that their rule about not putting rookies on special teams in the regular season can be forgotten, because Flip is Bill Belichick discipline that he doesn't want rookies on special teams because they are more likely to make mistakes that can change plays. You can show, actually, no, I'm solid on special teams, and I've got that upside that Barchi doesn't have on defense. I can contribute early in the season. That might flip it between them two, where then Barchi is the practice squadder. Hunter's on the 53.
Yeah, I know I've got Hunter on mine, but he is certainly one of the 5 players who has most to need. Like, they need to give him a good snap count. Give him 40 snaps. See what he can do. Give him a good game. Same with Eric O'Neill. Give him a full game. He's been very consistent so far. Allow him the opportunity to make that case over someone like... I mean, I don't know if it'd be the edge room, but certainly if you're going to try and take one of the D tackles off the roster or something like that, or one of the depth guys elsewhere, he needs a full performance. And then your offensive line potentially... I mean, it doesn't help. Barch is just hurt. He's not going to play there. But Mason Miller... potentially, for me, could try and fight his way on if he has another good performance as an interior lineman again and showcases that depth. And then maybe, depending on what happens with Isaiah Pacheco, I mean, if Travion Williams has another good one,
Yeah.
I think it would have to be incredibly good, but still, if Pacheco doesn't go, there may be an opportunity for him there. But I think out of all the guys we've crossed out, there's certainly no one there who can change my mind. It would be these practice squatters who are going to move it up to the next level.
Yeah.
So, yeah, relatively happy with that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep, absolutely. Right, let me get to the comments there if I've missed anything. Carlton goes, sorry, designation to return counts towards the team's limits of 8 total IR return designations allowed during the regular season.
Oh.
Oh.
So that means we've only got 6. Still.
Oh, okay, screw it. No, we're doing it. That's fine. We're committed.
Yeah.
We're committed. We're absolutely committed. You can't. The thing is, you can't take Rolder like now. I don't think. Not.
He's supposedly close to
Yeah.
practicing, but it's can you risk him over Barchi, for instance?
Yeah, it's
who
the
can
practice.
contribute week 1.
It's the practice he's missed, which is the critical thing. Not that he's practicing now. It's the practice he's missed is the issue. He's going to take time, and like I say, you don't want to lose an experienced guy at his disposal. So if you can protect a little bit, then you do it. So I don't know. Risking the waiver thing is going to be. I think it's too risky. I think you've got to use an IR designation. Because anytime you just dump a 4th rounder straight off the bat, then it's you run the risk.
Round, yeah.
You run the risk of losing them. So it is a pain there. Cotton Bug goes, just a little point. Travion Williams as a vested vet doesn't go through waivers. Yeah, that's right. So fair enough. You can get him there. Grandizer goes, question, Antanash, of your list, your prime players you might try to trade for a player of need or future draft pick, even if it's most likely for a 7th player who might not make the practice squad. Is there anyone you'd trade right now if you can't keep them that you could get something for?
I don't think there's anyone, to be honest, because, is a team really going to bite our hand off for a Tom Kennedy or Dominic Lovett? I don't think so. Maybe Travion Williams with some of the running back depth around the league, like we've just seen as alluded to earlier. The Dolphins have traded Tutu Atwell to the Rams for Jaquez Hunter, so stuff like that. But the positions we have is offensive line and arguably the secondary. Those are 2 of the hardest positions to find second string guys that will be good enough to start or contribute meaningfully for us. Is a corner we could trade for going to come in and be better than Roger McCreary? Doubt it.
It's kind of like a So the intriguing one for me, defensive tackle now. Mekhi Wingo might not make it. Now, trying to upsell him would be tough, but then you've got Levi as well, who's knocking round there, and if Levi's been healthy all summer, which he has, there's potentially value there. If you were offered an early 5th for Levi or a 6th for Wingo, who would you take the 5th and go with Wingo, or would you take the 6th and go with Levi?
6th and go with Levi.
And do
it's
that.
Not too different. Yeah, it's not too. There's not too much difference between a 5th and a 6th. Especially in Brad Holmes' land, that's basically...
Well, 5th got Zabney this year.
Exactly. So, and Levi's just got the upside. Again, I'm stealing this point from the podcast that Nolan Bianchi and Rich Silver do, because I was listening to their prediction on the way home. They were debating between Stille and Levi.
Oh,
and
really?
Levi's had this... Yeah.
Did they have Wingo out then, or did they have Wingo in?
Completely,
Wingo out.
Completely out. And it was between Stille and Levi, and basically it's Stille's shown it now. He's shown it in camp, but historically, the dude has 13 tackles. He's only ever got 2 sacks and all that. While Levi, in that one good season, had more production.
Yeah.
So it's whether you can trust that Levi's going to get back to 80% of what it was in that season, or do you take this proven production in Stille? Well, in this case, in this hypothetical we're discussing, it's either you keep Levi and bet on that 80%, or you keep Mekhi Wingo for a 1 round higher pick and get someone who's had 1 good game before he tore his ACL in his rookie season.
Yeah.
And hasn't shown anything since.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, the thing is, if we knew Levi was going to be healthy, this wouldn't be a discussion. like at all. It won't be a discussion. But obviously that's just a mitigating factor there. So that would be the only place I'd be looking at where I think we've got potentially a tradable asset, but it's not going to be much. We don't have any seriously tradable assets who are disposable. And to be honest, Super Bowl teams don't really do that because you need the depth. And like we critically need that. We spent our preseason creating the depth. Now the point is we don't want to trade it away. So no, I don't think there are anyone we could trade for. I guess if like a really good blocking tight end came up, I'd try and maybe shift the D tackle for them, but they just don't come up very often, so it is what it is. Nezgo's question: who are your Lions bubble players going into the last preseason game? So is there anyone who could lose their spot off your list that you've done? Let me see
Look
here.
up my actual prediction. Frazier, because the reason I kept him around is because he has that versatility. But as you've quite rightly pointed out before, it's all well and good having versatility, but you need to be able to play one position to a reasonable standard.
Yeah,
he hasn't shown that yet in the games. So if you could just come out, and even if it's just he plays the entire game at left guard and shows, you can be a 6 out of 10 there, and then if we need to move you to right tackle to back up and get for half the game while Blake Miller's out injured, you can do that. Fine. But if he has another poor game where he's getting penalties...
That was my point.
Good.
That was my point, because he's been getting penalised in practice as well, supposedly. And the penalties are the biggest killer for an offensive lineman, especially a young one. Coaches just can't abide it. That's the quickest way to kill your career, has been a penalty guy, because you just can't afford to go behind the sticks all the time. And
exactly.
So I agree. Frazier could be on that edge. Who else would be on the edge for me? Maybe Jackson Meeks, if they don't want to go for it. Like he had a really good receiving go last time. As long as he doesn't drop anything, as long as he's steady again, I think he's fine. But I think if he had a game where he dropped a few, they don't really trust him with blocking, he could potentially see his way off. And I guess Tay Martin would also. It depends. Like, we've seen the blocking and that, but we just need to see a few more receptions and catches now, which would be nice. Just to show the all-roundness of his game. Defensively, I feel like we're pretty set. I don't think Whiteside or Dorsey can play their way off. Maybe Whiteside if he gets cooked again, but I think that would be incredibly harsh with the off-season he's had, which has been really good. And I guess that wouldn't be a major one. I guess it wouldn't be a major player because he was not thought to make it initially. But I think behind that, everyone's pretty safe. I think it's the offense where we're at there.
Exactly, and not to obviously give him a pass, but the whole big reception he gave up last week to the Commanders, that was Nick Nash, former Triple Crown receiver.
Yeah,
that's not a bad receiver. That's the thing. Obviously, going into second, third string stuff, the offensive line's not that good, but there's receivers that can still make an impact, and it's just that he got caught out by the one thing that is his downfall, which is a big, speedy guy. He doesn't have the proper recovery speed to keep up with something like that, and the height. If he's just a speedy guy, he can do it. If he's just a big guy, he can do it. Both of them together, he's a bit screwed.
Yeah, he is indeed. With your 53 in the books, who's your MVP for this year? Who do you reckon's going to be MVP?
Gibbs.
Ooh, you're going with Gibbsy. JMO. JMO's going for 1.5.
Valid.
JMO's going for 1.5. I'm certain this is going to be the year of JMO. He's going to go absolutely nuts, and I guess that will go with Offensive Player of the Year. I guess Gibbs will get that for you as well if he's winning MVP.
Yeah.
Defensive MVP.
Twinkle Toes. Ali McNeil.
Oh, I love that shout. Who is gonna get it? Oh, it's got to be Jack, right? If we're gonna have that year, it's gonna be Captain Jack, I reckon. It's a cop out saying the green dot because they're always in the conversation, but you just feel like it does all run through him. So, who's the rookie of the year for you? So now we've got to take into consideration who's gonna play because, and what your expectation is against them, because Skylar Gill Howard could be in that conversation if he gets enough reps. Like, he could far surpass his value to this team. Abney could certainly surpass his value to this team if McCreary gets hurt or something like that. But then, Derek Moore's probably going to see a lot of the ball as well. Blake Miller's going to be pivotal on that line. I feel like this is a very tough question to answer.
It's got to be, for me, it's Blake Miller, though. Because he's for rookie this season, because if he even has a half-decent season, that's an improvement over what we saw from Taylor Decker last year at left tackle. It helped Goff stay upright, of improvement in run blocking.
Oh, this is intriguing. This is really intriguing. See, Abney's a grabby corner, so he's going to have issues this year. Derek Moore, it depends. It depends how much Wanham plays. It's trying to figure out who's going to get the game time to do it there.
Oh.
I would say that, Attila.
There we go.
Oh, what?
The Lions have made the move to sign Eric Scott, putting on injured reserve, Peyton Turner.
So they're keeping him then?
So
if we put him on IR, he reverts to our roster, doesn't he, after?
No, so he's on it for the rest of the season. We can waive him an injured destination like we did with Cedric Wilson, Blackshear, and that's just probably... We're putting him on there just to get the spot for Scott, and then this Bash Bosh.
There we go. Great, brother. Attila the Hungo's Rookie of the Year, Eric Hunter. I mean, I would love to make that shout.
Yes,
I would love to make that shout. I absolutely would. I have to maintain some realism, though. I don't know if they're going to really give him that. Oh, Lord. Do I do it? Screw it. I'm going to say Keith Abney's Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to get some good reps in that. I know he's a grabby corner, but I think he's going to surpass expectations because Blake Miller is already expected to be a league level, like a league average level right tackle. I think that's what the expectation is for him, and that's really good. But I think Keith Abney is going to be a starter by the end of the year, which for a 5th round pick rep, I'm representing my MVP based on value for the pick. So my rookie MVP is Abney. I really wanted to put Gil Howard in, but that DT room is stacked. I don't think we're going to see him that much. And that would be the good thing there. After reviewing your 53, says Grandad, which positions are the Lions deep at? Which are they weak at? I mean, for me, when me and Paul did our thing the other day, we said we were weak at tight end, corner, and offensive line depth. I think they were the 3 that we were concerned about. Would you push back on any of those, or are there any other areas you'd say we're a little weak at? And where do you think we're deepest?
Definitely deepest at the defensive line for me.
Oh god, yeah. This is hard. It's so hard. Like the fact that you're cutting Wingo potentially and guys like that. I mean, I know it's not the greatest barometer, but they would usually keep faith with him a little longer and see if he could do it. The fact that he can't says where you're at. I'd agree.
Yeah, well, to put it this way, if you offer the Chicago Bears right now DJ Wanham, Levi Enrique, Scarlett Gil Howard, and Hassanin as their starting defensive line, they'd bite your hand off.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, they would. They would.
As for weakest, is it weird? I don't know. Because, like, running back behind Gibbs, can you trust Varkin Sailors? I don't know. Behind Goff, can you trust Out My Dobbs? I don't know.
I guess when you think about it, is there anything that you think could derail the Lions' season? Any position that could derail the season? That defines as weak. If you're like there and you can't see anything that's like gonna absolutely banjax you, then it's not weak, is it?
Centre, Scruggs, like
that's why we kind of went interior offensive line depth because it's Frazier's still a work in progress. Mahogany, you've got to make sure he's healthy, but he's good. But behind Mahogany and Ratledge, it's a bit higgledy-piggledy, and it's a bit...
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So, I think we're out there. Strongest is obviously D-line. I mean, I've said, when Kirby and Branch are back, safety's deep as...
Yeah.
Can you imagine,
we're gonna have to cut Thomas Harper, which pains me.
I mean, trade him. If those two come back, if you've got... In fact, I'd trade Maddox. I'd trade Maddox, the older one, and keep Harper. Chuck Clark's your vet in there. Keep Chuck Clark and keep Harper. Trade Maddox if he does well at the start of the year. I think you've got legitimate trade bait in that safety room come the deadline. if you need it. And I mean, not just because we're selling because we're doing bad, but selling to get a piece on the roster elsewhere, which will help us with the Super Bowl run. I think it's very safe when it's it's very stacked when it's healthy, providing obviously the top two come back.
I can see that. Yeah.
So yeah, defensive line, safety when healthy. Receiver, we're absolutely fucking jacked.
Yeah.
Receiver, we're jacked. I don't care. No one cares about wide receiver 5 or 6. Your top 4, people would kill for 2 consistent 1,000-yard receivers, and then Dortch, who is just like a little versatile weapon in there, and then Tesla's developing. Has got potential to be another wide receiver 1 on this team. Like, we are stacked jack there. Which positions? Grandazza goes, thank you, Ash, mentioning that, and Amp for understanding my question of trading for a player at this junction. Yeah, a lot of teams will do it. With roster cutdowns coming, you'll see some trades happen to try and people to get guys before they hit the open market and whatnot. So you will see quite a few. Right. If anyone else has got any other questions they want to ask us before we get out of here, then please do so, because we are coming down towards the end of this. I did say I had something for you. Bear with me a moment. This might take some more time to go through. But we did get asked, and I do like to do requests here, and I keep forgetting about it. And he's asked us several times, so I want to make sure. But due to the website, we've had Russell getting in contact with us about the offense. I'm just going to put the question to you here, and you can either answer it now or you can leave it for a different one to work out. But he goes, as we expect our offense to be super strong this season, would any type of hurry up or no huddle or rush to snap approach to offense play make sense? Teams will struggle to stop us regardless, but not giving them time to think or make substitutions could tilt things further in our direction. Yes, he goes, appreciate how you do deep dives on issues and hope you'll address this if you have time. Thanks, from Russell. Appreciate your question, Russell. Sorry we've taken some time to get round to this. It's just been uber busy and I keep meaning to do it. So I'm going to hand this over to our resident tactics guy. But obviously we complained last year about how slow the offense was going, especially in the last 10 minutes, the whole we want the last possession gig here. But would you be in favour of any type or more showing towards hurry up or no huddle or rush to snap, and do we have the team to pull that off, because it is quite specific?
I'd definitely be for it, especially since all reports out of camp is that we're leaning more into Gibbs as a receiver, not only just saying that because of the whole thing in his contract, but Eric and Jeremy, for instance, on the PODD breakdowns of the training camp stuff, have been saying they've been doing that a lot more Gibbs wide up that line. Imagine one snap, you've got Gibbs in the backfield, he takes, I don't know, an outside zone for 8 yards. We hurry to the line and, oh God, hang on, he's lined up, we're empty. Where's Gibbs? Oh, he's in the slot. And now he's caught a slant. And then we hurry up again and it's Amaral. I'd definitely be for it. But with the injury to Mays and the sort of, as we just mentioned, the weakness right now in the interior offensive line, where we're not 100% sure on Mahogany. Obviously, we've got Scruggs in at centre as a backup. Bradley's his second year. I don't want to rag on him, but that could be our undoing, where we do that and the communication's not 100% there, the offensive line, and it just doesn't work. So definitely introduce it, but I think it's going to be definitely more thing when we've got Cade Mays back, we've settled into the offensive line, then we can, because it involves good communication in terms of timing the snap, especially if we're hurrying it, because that's going to be sort of silent count. And what happens if Rat is one count too early on the silent snap and has a full start? Penalty, clock is stops, and the entire point of the momentum's gone. So definitely be there for it. I would not be surprised if we do it under Petzing, because Goff, if you listen to all the interviews that Goff have done and Petzing's done, Goff has had a hand in creating the scheme. He's even told Petzing, right, this is what we call this is why we group this. Goff can be that passing game coordinator on the field. He can call the plays. He knows what he's doing. Petzing can trust him with that in the sort of 2-minute drill, almost finger with a hurry up. But it just relies on having that good centre play, because they've got to make the checks to line. They've got to do the silent count. So definitely for it later, but just get Mays back, because hopefully by then left guard will sort itself out. And we've got a proper centre rather than trusting Scruggs, who, while I believe he can be a league average centre, is that going to be enough?
Have Kafka's offences ever run no huddle? I'm just trying to think now back to his Giants days.
yeah.
Have they ever done...
I think they've done some of it because it's, but it would have been more with Winston. So they probably did it in the game against us. But when you had Jackson Dart under centre, you definitely wouldn't have been able to.
Now that you've said that, there are definitely teams that have no-huddled us before. In fact, quite a lot used to do it when Aaron Glenn was here, because Aaron Glenn didn't adjust.
Just exactly.
And a lot of teams used to run it on us.
Packers did it quite a lot with us with Jordan Love.
You do raise a very good point, though, and this will be my 2 cents on it, because obviously I watch a lot of no-huddle down in college and how they do it, and you have to have a very specific offensive line to pull it off right. And you're right, the centre is critical, because obviously you are making decisions on a snap basis. You've got to process quickly. You've got to get everyone organised. You know, your centre needs to be just as jacked up as your quarterback is to pull it off, and your offensive line needs to be the type that can do it. Now, our offensive line can. You've got pulling guards who are very athletic. Your tackles are incredibly athletic. So these are guys who can get out to the second level quickly. They're not going to gas out. So you do have the personnel there, but I agree with you, Ash. We don't have the stability to do it right now. You've got to have more of a stable offensive line. I'm thinking, you know, again, when do I see? I see Brennan Marion run it with the go-go.
Yeah.
He has a very experienced line who are trained, like that's their bread and butter, and it looks so good because it's all they do. But you can't just run a no-huddle offense all the time in the NFL. You've got to do both, and it's kind of a system you've got to commit to as your identity rather than a little flax in your armor type thing. But I agree. I would like to see more urgency this year. Having Petzing and Kafka here should mean that Dan is not. I don't think Dan could focus last year because he was on offense. I don't think he was fully invested in his time management because he was that busy trying to sort the offensive plays out and help there, which I don't think helped us. I think the time management will be better this year when Dan can just leave them to it and do what they're doing. So I would love to see it. I love no-huddle offenses. I think they're tremendous, and when they're done right, they just put such a strain on an opposition. But as I say, it has to be done specifically very well, because in other times you see teams try and do it and they're 3 and out in like 10 seconds because they're just trying to go nuts and they can't do it. So you've got to be careful because it works the time. But we appreciate your question there, Russell, and we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see if they do introduce more no-huddle concepts and that. We have the personnel. We just, we're going to need time to embed it in because it's not really something we've done so far. But appreciate that. Question from Grandizer: is this 2026 Lions roster right now stronger, weaker, or same strength at previous Lions rosters at this junction under Holmes and Campbell? My initial thought, without thinking too much about this, is this the strongest it's been depth-wise for the most part. Again, I would like a blocking tight end, and I would like maybe I just like one more corner who could contribute immediately while Ennis recovers and everyone else kind of gets in there. But outside of that, I'm not really screaming for anything else desperately. It does feel like the lines are better, and the most part things about maybe running back. But
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah,
my initial thing is it's the strongest we've had at this point. Because last year, like, we had Aleem on pup, Rodrigo on pup, Hutch. Like, we got a lot of players coming back off injury last year, like that horrific. So there were a lot more unknowns. We had like 5 or 6 guys we put on our pup list last year. We got 2 this year. Obviously, Branch and Kirby are on there, but I don't know. You agree? You think this is the strongest we've had?
Strongest we've had. Yeah, the only areas I'd want to say one more is a proper running back too. Because you look back, we've had Swift and Jamal Williams. We've had Gibbs and Monty. Now we've just got Gibbs, and I don't trust Pacheco. So we've played weak at running back. Wide receiver, obviously, with the best we've ever been, I'd argue, because Amara Amara, James finally breaking out. Dortch is equitable to Raymond. Tesla's going to be a high upside X, so you maybe put him same as Josh Reynolds. Tight ends, probably the strongest we've been. Offensive line, that's probably the one wiggle room. Because obviously back when you had Decker, Jonah Jackson, Ragnow, Zeitler, Saul, that's probably the one place we're properly downgraded at. But everywhere else, defensive line's deepest that we've ever had it. We're not having, as much as we love John Kaminsky, we're not having him on there. Charles Harris, Romeo Crowder. We've got actual edge rushers. Linebackers slightly weaker because no Anzo. Corners.
It could be stronger in the long run.
Yeah,
I think we've got a lot more potential there. And we've got better, like Devin White now with Derek Barnes gives us more blitz opportunities and bits. So I think overall the room's deeper, but I'd say the front three maybe not. But I'm with you. I think we're in a pretty decent position right now. And like the fact that a running back to a blocking tight end, these are not the kind of positions that cost a first round pick to fix. You can fix them with roster cut downs. You can get a vet in there who can come do a job and that. And you can get like blocking tight ends, some teams don't value them at all. So you potentially can get them without having to break the bank. So these are fixable problems. This is not like we're looking for a quarterback, and like because you can't fix that this time of year. You just can't. So yeah, I think we're there. But yeah, I think this is one of the best rosters we have had. And the thing that's different from all the previous rosters is all our rookies are grown up now. Like, that Amon-Ra's grown up, Penne's grown up, Jack's coming in year 4. Like, it's not we're not the youngest team knocking around anymore, but our young core they're at peak now.
Yeah.
There's no excuses from them. They are at peak, and our quarterback's playing the best football of his career, so, and he did it under tons of pressure last year. Grandad says, did you guys discuss the NFL article that projected the position ranking of each NFL teams where the Lions rank? I didn't, out of protest, because they ranked Jared Goff as like the 16th best quarterback in the NFL the other day. Like, screw them. Like, it's going to be... I'm going to write a dissertation on this one day. It seems to be Jared Goff and Jared Goff only. Just people are still stuck in their 2021 view of him. They've not watched football for the last half decade when he's played with us, right? Because I don't know how is he the 16th best quarterback in the NFL? He's not. And you see some of the scrubs and bums he's in conversation with around him, and you're like, are you serious? I reckon there are, with Jared Goff right now, 6 teams in the NFL who wouldn't trade for him as their starting QB. Obviously, like, you got the Bills, the Ravens, the Chiefs, maybe some ones who've got younger studs and that, but I think there's at least 20 teams, maybe more, that trade for him instantly and would see him as an upgrade.
Yeah, 100%. Like, even, God, the whole rumours with Joe Burrow, when he goes to the Rams,
LA.
This is the rumour.
He's going.
LA, yeah.
We know it,
exactly.
Don't we? We know it, you know it. They'll probably send Stafford over for his last year or something like that and then throw a few firsts in or something. They've probably got a deal. Because Stafford going back to Cincinnati, coming back to Detroit area, obviously, he knows it round here. I could see that happening. One last little trade.
True.
Joe Burrow's clearly going to the Rams. Unless they properly bottom out this year. Like, if it all falls apart, then they won't. But I reckon they will. It's clearly going to happen. So, no, we just get chronically underrated as a team. So, we're not going to give those articles the clicks they need. Attila the Hun goes, by the way, love you guys. Pray we all cry together in happiness come Valentine's Day. I mean, that's going to be tough, Ash. Super Bowl is Valentine's Day. You're going to be in some bother, son, if they get to the... You're going to be...
Luckily...
Have you already discussed this with her?
She'll be in Grenada, so...
Oh, really?
Yep.
Hang on, what's she doing in Grenada on Valentine's Day without you?
He spends 6 months roughly the year there, 6 months here.
Okay. So Ash has got a jail-free card, so... Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So, yeah, hopefully it is Valentine's Day. If they get Kirby and Branch back and that blocking tight end plus Cade Mays returns, this is a Super Bowl team. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. You add those two healthy in this team. Add the healthy center. Get one more tight end. Like, this team's unstoppable.
Exactly.
And they've got a rod up their ass this year. Like, they've got a point to prove, and I think they're going to prove it. So, there we go. Hopefully Denver cuts Dallin Bentley and we sign him and drop Wright. I remember Dallin Bentley being a receiving tight end at Utah, but he is at Utah, so they do teach him to block. But my thing with him was he was always a receiver. But I could be wrong. I don't know what Denver have done with him, so maybe Denver have turned him into a blocker. Who knows? Well, potentially. We'll see. There'll be some really interesting cut downs there. Is there any, just to finish this off, is there anyone whose eye is you sneakily on, like, he's on the bubble, like, go and get him instantly? I know there's been a few articles and stuff out, but I know you're always keeping an eye on this.
So, there's one guy, and it's not so much a cut candidate, but trade candidate. Joey Porter Jr. Let's get you your best cornerback since Darius Slay.
I'm well in on that. Absolutely. I would go for Joe. I've said the thing with Joey Porter Jr., if he shows the same attitude that Devin White has since he got here, I would take him in a heartbeat. Devin White is acting like he's the bottom linebacker on this roster, and he's playing like his life depends on it. Even though he's a Super Bowl winner who has won more Super Bowl rings than this entire team combined, he's not coming here with an attitude of a holier than thou, I'm better than you type thing. He's working his ass off to make the roster. If Joey Porter Jr. can do that, because he's going into a room, they love guys like Khalil Dorsey. They love Ennis. They're not just going to let him come here and be cornerback 1-0. He's going to have to earn his way over them. But, I mean, that would be sick, wouldn't it? And I think he fits our profile as well. Blue collar, Midwestern, loves to just, go nuts. And he's been on a shite side. Let's not get it wrong. Exactly. Most of those Steelers DBs just flame out there. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. Get JPJ in the building and we're laughing. We're laughing. Right, is there anything else you want to mention before we get out of here? All good? Seems like we're all covered. Right, there we have it. I think we've had all the questions there. Thank you to Grandizer for shouting at the channel and everything again. But appreciate you all, Attila the Hun, Grandizer, Marmarker, Carlton Wood, everyone who's been in the building. Hopefully you've enjoyed this evening, our 53 mans there. Thank you once again to Ryan from Indianapolis, Colts UK, for coming on and giving his thoughts on the Colts going into pre-season game 3 against them on Saturday. And we'll see you again come draft time, sir. We appreciate you. In terms of shows coming up, Saturday, it is the Colts Lions pre-season game. I am subbing in for Matt, so you're going to have to deal with me, but you've got Ash, so you're going to be absolutely fine. So we'll be live for that. We'll do a Simone Biles count to see how many times he mentions her on stream, and we'll try and find the weirdest. We're going to have a competition to see who can come up with the most niche pop culture reference on there, and we'll fight this one out because that'll be a hard-fought competition. But yeah, that's coming on Saturday. Sunday, we will be live on the channel for roster cutdown day. We will be live reacting to the news as it comes out and the announcement of the 53, so you'll be joining us there for that. Soon we'll be live Monday as well. College Football Podcast will be back next week at a date to be decided because we have a special guest coming on, Zach McKinnell, the FCS expert. We're going to be looking at all things FCS before week 1 next week, which is going to be good fun. And of course, we're going to take a look back at this weekend where Ash's Florida State Seminoles are playing, and they're playing New Mexico State, so there should be no problems there, but if there are, then he's probably going to go missing for a while. So, I'm honestly more interested in the Island game. There we go. TCU UNC tomorrow night. I don't think I can do I can't. I'm at work most of this weekend, so I can't do a play-by-play this week. But we will start the college football streams next week as well. So we'll be doing that because I want to do one per week this year. So we'll see. But yeah, lots of good stuff coming up on the channel. So again, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good sort of stuff. Shout us out there. We know you do already. We love you all. You are the best sets of fans on the internet and the most loyal. We appreciate you all. We shall see you very soon. One Pride worldwide. Hook the Bears. And we got a very last minute appearance from the Doggy Dog to see us out there. Grandizer will love that because he doesn't get to see Hank anymore. So Colton goes, I'm looking out for that quote on Saturday. There we go. You will see us there and there. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Au revoir.